My name is John Steele, and I've worked together with Dan Hofstede and Brett Eckert to build Battle Abacus. And this is a video just to demonstrate Battle Abacus, tell you what it's about, and that's about it. So Battle Abacus is a character manager app for the Pathfinder role-playing game. The APK, can be found at battleabacus.com. So I'd like to demonstrate creating a character, adding spells, feats, hazards, showing you our Angular routes, filters, and directives, give you a brief look at our views, controllers, and finally demoing building the project. All right, I'm going to start off with character creation. I'm going to switch to showing my screen. Just a moment. Probably have a few too many windows open right now. Okay, so I'm running this as a guest just to show off making our first character. So I'm going to go ahead and connect to localhost 9753. Okay, so we've connected and we have no character selected. Just because this is going to be built into the APK, I'm just going to demo it as a phone. So I've opened up the Chrome Developer Tools. Let's choose Nexus 5 and give it a refresh. Okay, once again, no character selected. So if we go ahead and click the top left, you'll see we have a few menu items. 3 are disabled for this version, and 3 are what are live for version 0.0.5. I'm going to create a new character. Just give it a name of Bob. And now that we have a character selected, we get a new message. It says we don't have any spells unabilities. Click on all spells to add one. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I just want to demo a quick bug that unfortunately was in this version of Angular material. We weren't able to. We're getting click hijacking, which is where we click on one item and it goes through the page into another. And unfortunately, that was in the version of Angular, the latest version of Angular material. Our workaround was to have it trigger as soon as you click, which means you can't actually drag on any buttons. So you have to click and drag outside, which makes it a little bit frustrating. And then here we have all the pages. Go to last page. Once you're on the last page, next gets disabled. When you're on the first page, previous is disabled. Let's go ahead and click on one of our spells. We add it to the character. We're brought back to our My Spells. We now see we have a spell. We can go ahead and add a second spell. We have 2 spells. And we can go to any one of them and then hit remove, and it's gone. Next, same sort of thing with feats. You go to all feats, you get the details, you can add it to your character. And once more with hazards. Hazards is a little bit different. It will display different information based on what's in our database. So with this this hazard, there are only 3 informational fields. But if we go ahead and select leprosy, we see there's actually 4. And only the fields that are available in the database are displayed on the page. Now let's go ahead and add another character. Call this one Tim. And if we go ahead and select Tim, you'll see he doesn't have the spells. Hazards still, and you click, we select Bob, and our hazards are here. Now let's have a look at how we persist these. When you go into the Resources tab in Chrome, you can see in our Web SQL, we have a character table. We have a character feat table, character hazard table, character spell table, character skill table. So these are joining tables that show which of our feats, hazards, and spells are assigned to our characters. We also store the active character in local storage so that when you relaunch the app, you're still on the same character. Okay, in a future release, we want to display items a little bit differently. Right now, we just display mine and all. Later on, we'll be displaying only the hazards, feats, and spells that could actually be applied to a character of your level and your class. So next, I'm going to take us to WebStorm. Here we are. Just to get a little bit of a look at how we built this. So we're in our JS folder. We have app.js. In here, we have run, which gives us a few root scope variables. For example, page, skip, page size. These will, at a later stage, be moved into their own controller. We have a function for controlling the nav bar. And most importantly, we have our routes. So these dictate the URL patterns and which templates and controllers they go to. You'll see we have a route for feats that goes to our feats nav page, which contains both the my feats and all feats, controlled by the feats controller. And similarly, we have a feats feat ID route, which goes to a specific feat. It goes to the non-plural version of the feat controller, and you can see it goes to the non-plural view. That is the same with hazard and skill and spells. And if anything doesn't match these, it is redirected to the root. Underneath this, we had to override the limit to filter, because the one that came with Angular 3.15 did not have a limit, did not have a skip. So you could limit the number of results, but you couldn't skip to a certain number. And because we wanted to have pages, that wasn't good for us. So we went ahead and took the filter from Angular, that should be 3.4, it did. Then we also made filters for floor, ceiling, max, and min. And a custom order by, so we can order by a specific property in an object. Finally, we made a directive called BA click, or Battle Abacus click, that I mentioned earlier was to try and stop the click through. Unfortunately, because we do take touch start, it means you can't drag over buttons because it will immediately fire the click as long as it's not disabled. Okay, finally, oh, sorry, I'm just going to have show. So we have character, database, start data access, feat, contains both feat controllers, hazard, likewise, both hazard controllers. And of course, you're welcome to have a look at our GitHub to see all these in detail. Finally, I just wanted to give a quick demo of building the project. So for that, I'm going to change Windows again. Okay, so here's my desktop, and I'm using the Git bash. So it feels a bit like Linux, but it's running in Windows. So I'm going to go ahead and git clone github.com. On Yugen, Battle. Oops. Our repository does not exist, so I will just double check what I need to do there. Apologies, that's git clone. And here is the link to our repository. Once we have it, just call npm install. Of course, we need to install Node Package Manager first. And there seems to be something wrong with my package.json file. Hopefully, if you try this, you won't get this error. Anyways, once, if that were to have worked, you could then proceed to do npm start, and it would build it. But of course, since it didn't download, that doesn't happen. I do apologize for that. I will try to add in the comments the correct steps to build the project. It may be something in my environment that's stopping me. Anyway, so that's my demonstration of Battle Abacus. Once again, this was a collaborative effort between myself, John Steele, Brett Eckert, and Daniel Hofstede. Thanks for watching.